What's up, you guys? Dark Cloud Yugioh here. I hope everybody's having a great day. In this video, I'm going to be introducing a new segment to you. First and foremost, if you're wondering why I'm in a closet, my room is very oddly made to where I have dressers built in my wall. So with that, I have a lot of closet space. So I turn my closet space into a trading card area. So if I ever film like discussion type videos or any video where I'm going to talk on camera and I'm in my house, I'm going to be making videos in this room. But beside the point. In this video, I'm going to be introducing a new segment on this channel. This segment is based on Jesse Cotton, Pack, Team Sam, all of them. They called it Locals Legends, Locals Experience. They basically took a meta deck and recorded all their matches, and the video was like 2 hours to 3 hours long. And they were a lot of fun to watch and inspired me to make my own. Instead of making like a 2-hour version, I pretty much sped up all my duels, did a quick voiceover, and then I'm filming like an introduction like I am now before I show you all the duels. And then after all the duels, I'm going to give my final thoughts on the deck and all that. So in this video, I'm going to be playing Synchrons. I had a lot of fun playing Synchrons. I did make a lot of misplays because the cards are new. But that's the fun part, is we learn because we're human. So enjoy this little segment of duels as we go to locals and watch me play. Alright, here is round one, and I'm not going to lie, I'm very super nervous to do a voiceover, and I was nervous to film. The people next to us had these cute little orange dice I liked, so we ended up using those. I ended up going first. My hand wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. I opened Stardust Acceleration, I dumped Stardust Trail. My opponent wasn't very familiar with the new Synchron card, so it's pretty funny. Then I played Tuning and added Assault Synchron and ended up milling a Droll. So afterwards, I summoned Full Speed Warrior, and what he does on summon is add a spell trap that mentions Junk Warrior. So we added the new spell card, Synchro Fellowship, which is actually really good. And you're going to see my opponent read quite a bit in this. And I also apologize if I kind of seem nervous on this. I'm trying to just get more comfortable with making these style of videos. So we activate Synchro Fellowship. We're able to search Junk Synchron, and I believe we search the Scrap Synchron. So I'm being very wary of walking into hand traps. Even though I do have a cross out, I didn't want to walk into too many. And I discarded the Anchor Bolt Hedgehog, which I ended up not using at all, which there were maybe some possible plays I ended up playing. You guys will see that as I'm playing. The K9 Vanquish Soul player had several interruptions he could have played to interrupt me at any time, but he wanted to see what my deck did, so he just wanted to watch. So that's why he didn't really have any interruptions. So we Synchro Summon into Scrap Warrior with Scrap Synchron in hand. Then we use his effect to add Junk Synchron to hand. And then afterwards, we are going to use Synchro Fellowship's Graveyard effect. He was asking something about the protection effect of Scrap Warrior. Anyway, so we use Synchro Fellowship for the additional normal summon. We're additional normal summoning the Junk Synchron, bringing back Full Speed Warrior. This is where I felt like I should have brought back the Quillbolt, but I didn't. That's when I went to full the Junk Speeder, I believe his name is. I'm terrible with these cards' names. I just call them little nicknames. So this guy is the Busted Man. He brings all your Synchrons out with different levels. So we ended up bringing a Assault Synchron, a Stardust Synchron, a Wheel Synchron, and a Revolution Synchron. So there were several different lines I could do. I ended up going into Rage Rose Witch, which ended up dumping a plant from your extra deck. So I dumped the Garden Rose Maiden, and I didn't know if I would dump Spore Globe, but that's when I started the Spore combo that I showed off in my deck profile, where you banish it to make it a 7, and you can Synchro Summon with the 5 with the Junk Busted Man. I think it's Junk Speeder. So there's the Chaos Angel because we use the Light and Dark, so now all our Synchro monsters are unaffected by activated monster effects, and they can't be destroyed by battle. So that's why I opted to Synchro Summon, was because I'm trying to just save my guys from Nibiru, so that way I'm not really worried about Nibiru. So I used Stardust to tribute off the Revolution. I bumped the camera. I ended up bringing in Trail, Synchro Summoning both into Omega, and that's when I realized I was playing K9 Vanquish Soul. He revealed Holly Sue and I believe it was Borger to special summon Holly Sue. And then I activated Omega to attempt to banish a card from his hand. And that's when he chained quick to, I believe it's a special summon monster from deck. So we rolled and I banished a Ghost Bell from his hand. So he continued to resolve this. Sorry, it was to take control, not to special summon. He took one of my tuners because he didn't want me to synchro summon at all. So he summoned out the Borger, and then I ended up going the rest of the combo with the Snake Eyes Dragon, which I put the Borger in the spell trap zone. So at the end phase, I got Omega back, and he got Ghost Bell. And then at the end phase, I got Wheel Synchron. He opened up, played a case, searched, did a bunch of K9 stuff. I'm not even going to bother explaining because so many people know what the K9 Vanquish Soul stuff does. So he proceeds to just do a bunch of K9 Vanquish Soul stuff. And I was very confused how he was going to break my board because the Chaos Angel was protected by activated monster effects. And then there was a time when he revealed something. I tried to Omega to knock out a card of his hand because I knew the K9 Vanquish Soul stuff needed certain attributes. But I was really banking on him not trying to get over my Chaos Angel, and then I totally forgot about the quick play that when you rank up, you can destroy a monster on the field. And that's actually how he ends up just beating over my monster game 1. So you can see here he's revealing with Joe Cool, still doing more K9 Vanquish Soul stuff. Like, as I said, the Synchrons deck is very fun to play, but it gets very outclassed. And I'm just sitting there watching my opponent going, yeah. Like, I thought about putting other cards in here, but I couldn't figure out what to play because obviously when you're playing a fun deck in locals, this is bound to happen when you play against a top tier deck. And that's when he revealed the rank up spell, and then after that I knew it was game over. So I ended up just scooping and then attempting to go into game 2 because when he cleared my board, there's just no way I could beat over it or clear over. So going first, I ended up deciding 2 strike, a warning, and 3 Regaki, and I ended up not opening the best hand. This is where I realized Mathematician wasn't the best option. I had a strike called by Ash, Mathematician, I forgot the other card. So, oh yeah, it was tuning, and I ended up adding the Assault Synchron. So with Mathematician, I was hoping he wasn't going to hand trap it because either I was going to go into Assault Synchron with the, I was going to use the Assault Synchron with Mathematician to go into Excel Synchron, or I was going to use Glow Up Bulb to go into the Herald of Arclight, which you can see that I ended up doing the Glow Up Bulb into the Herald of Arclight. Because my hand really wasn't interactive, I was trying to just set up a bunch of cards to try and hopefully live for the next turn. I had a Negate with Herald, a Strike, and an Ash. But because I had done stuff, he Azuna'd, and I Ashed his Azuna. And obviously everyone knows the easiest way to beat over Herald. You just enter battle phase and you attack it. And that's what happened with Herald. So after that, he proceeds to do a bunch of K9 Vanquish Soul stuff, which obviously when you're playing a fun deck, like I had just mentioned, stuff is going to happen. And he's going to reveal Holly Sue at some point, and I'm going to strike it. And I think that was the most I realized I could do. And yeah, there's the reveal of Holly Sue. I striked it. And then I didn't really have much of a follow-up afterwards, personally. Like, I knew I was going to lose this match the second I saw the Holly Sue, but it still ended up being a good game, and I ended up just giving up shortly after he started doing all the combos. So, even though we didn't do the best, let's hopefully do better. Alright, next up is Panda Man Yugioh. So, he's a fellow content creator from my locals. Heavily recommend checking him out. So, I opened really bad. I ended up opening 2 Forbidden Droplet, Droll, Scrap Synchron, and a Spore. I ended up opening Stardust Synchron and just scooping because there was nothing I could do. So, I ended up going second. Panda Man Yugioh is playing not Volcanics. Volcanics is his usual deck. He loves fire decks. I ended up he's playing Fire King. So, game 2, I ended up opening Synchron Fellowship. I added Junk Synchron. I thought it said a card mentioning Stardust Dragon, but I had to make sure. So I added another High Speed Warrior. At this point, I realized I should have added Anchor Bolt Hedgehog. He tries to droll me, but I managed to cross it out just in time. So, I'm pretty sure I had full combo, but as I said, I should have summoned I should have searched out the Anchor Bolt instead of summoning the High Speed, because the only reason I did that was to thin my deck out. And I wanted to go into a Herald, but even then, when I had the Anchor Bolt, I still had the extra level 2 that I could have done more plays. So here, we're going into the Junk Speeder, the best card in the whole deck. bring out all of our favorite tuners, the wheel, the scrap, because we normal it off the junk, and then we continue our combos. So I'm going into Rage Rose Witch. Rage Rose Witch is going to dump Garden Rose Maiden from extra deck, and then it's going to dump Spore from the deck. And then with that, we have our level 6 with Rage Rose and our level 4 tuner with Stardust Synchron. So we're going to go into our favorite level 10 Chaos Angel. But let me tell you, when I use Light and Dark to protect everything, it's very, very helpful. So next, we're going to banish the Rage Rose Witch with Spore to make him a level 7 with Junk Speeder. 7 plus 5 is 12. Make Snake Eyes Dragon. We've been making him all day, so now I have Garden Rose Maiden to bring him back with a follow-up next turn. I love making people read, so we're tributing the Synchron for Stardust Synchron, then I'm explaining what it does. So we're adding a Stardust Illumination, activating Star Reduced Illumination, saying a Stardust, I just call her the Chick, I'm not sure of her name, Stardust Chick to the graveyard, and then we pass. So Panda Man Yugioh activates Fossil Dig, adds the, I'm not sure the Drock's name, but when he's destroyed, you dump one from the extra deck, and then he can banish to Synchro Summon. He's absolutely busted. So he summons Ponix, searches Fire King stuff. I'm not very sure what Fire King stuff does because it's one of those decks that I didn't see all too much. Like, I know mentally what it does, but it's still foreign to me, I guess. So at this point, I'm trying to negate and destroy his stuff. Not realizing when I negate one, I set off a whole chain reaction of destroying stuff. So he's just letting me know, hey, I'm doing this while you do this. And all I know is that the monsters blow stuff up. And so that's why I was trying to use Chaos Sorcerer, not Chaos Sorcerer. Well, I'm trying to use Chaos Angel to keep all my monsters alive because I'm like, I know he's going to try and use monsters to blow my stuff up, but we should be fine. So it's my turn. Play another Synchro Fellowship. Ended up discarding the Anchor Bolt. So now we go into the Excel Synchron. Dump a Stardust. Tribute him off to get the Stardust Synchron. Then we're going to resolve the Stardust Chick in the graveyard. Synchro Summon for an 8. Going to Omega. And then we're going to enter battle and attack a bunch of stuff because sadly we have to attack and clear. And this is where I start realizing, like, ah, shit, I accidentally set off a whole chain reaction of fire stuff. So I realized it was going to be an uphill battle for me because all the fire stuff does stuff when I pop it. And so we're just clarifying a few things right now. So the biggest problem I had was just trying to figure out what to stop because you don't really have hand traps. You only had like 1 or 2 interruptions. And when I Omega, I had to figure out when to Omega. And then I forgot that Fire King also plays spells that can end up destroying some stuff. So here we are, he's still doing more Fire King stuff. And he ends up passing and ends up adding back his level 1, summons it, adds the card that searches the field spell, and then you're going to see that he searches the field spell, and then just does a lot more. Panda Man Yugioh is a very good friend of mine, so I didn't mind losing to him. Usually when I play against people, I don't mind losing at all. It just, when they turn really snotty is when I don't like playing against people. And especially since I'm playing a fun Synchron deck, I have to remember that I'm doing this for fun. And that's when I realized that there's a quick play that you pop a spell, or you pop a Fire King to pop a monster. And since he popped a Fire King, he was able to pop my Chaos Angel. And that's when I realized a whole new chain link of effects are going. So shortly after he got rid of my Chaos Angel, I was like, there's no way I'm going to win. But I still had to watch him play it out, just because you have to believe in the heart of the cards. But you'll see, often when I play these videos, the heart of the cards is very questionable with me. But Mike starts to do fire things, so with that, we're going to end it with that. So Panda Man beats me, and that's game. When I tell you it's been an uphill battle, it's literally been an uphill battle. Round 3 is against Pure Canine and my friend Shelton, so he starts going off and I realized I bricked really bad. I opened Crossout, Called By, Junk Synchron, Droll, and Scrap Synchron. Literally very unplayable. So as he went Pure Canine stuff, I try to bait out his Droll, but then he hits me with a Talent, and snipes out a card out of my hand. And I told myself that if I don't draw something good, I'm just going to scoop, because 2 tuners don't do anything. And this deck loves to draw multiple tuners. And just like last turn, or just like last game against Panda Man Yugioh, we drew another tuner, and I ended up just scooping because the tuner that we drew next was Assault Synchron. So, game 2, we open tuning. With tuning, we search Assault Synchron, then mill Forbidden Droplet. We summon Mathematician, and then on Mathematician summon, we get Impermed. So we summon the Assault Synchron, take the 700. We make the Junk Speeder. I was showing him that it just required a Synchron tuner. It didn't specify which Synchron tuner. So with that, we bring out 5 of the Synchron tuners. I apologize that there's going to be a glare, but we're bringing out Revolution, Wheel, Scrap, Assault, and Stardust. So we're synchroing Scrap and the Wheel for Rage Rose, and then we're going to we're not synchroing yet. We're using Rage Rose to dump Spore and Garden Maiden. Now we're going to synchro summon Rage Rose with Stardust to make our Chaos Angel, the most basic play of the deck. So with that, we're going to banish Rage Rose with Spore to make him a 7, to make him a Snake Eyes Dragon. Like what I said, it's the basic play. Tribute the Revolution for Stardust, but we're met with a Ghost Spell. So I'm thinking, since it was Tribute, we managed to special summon the Stardust chick from our hand, and then we used the effect to mill one, because we had a big level in hand, or on field, so we made Excel Synchron to dump another Stardust, so that way we can have another follow-up if we use the Lady again next turn. So he pretty much opened double evenly and said that no matter what he tried to double evenly, I would keep my my Chaos Angel, and he could not beat over a Chaos Angel. So that is, sadly enough, our first win of the day. So now, game 3. He opens more K9 stuff, so now a bunch of K9 shenanigans happen. My hand is very good. I have Regaki and Dark Ruler no more. I am very confident I could destroy his board completely. So this whole match was shenanigans because he ends up hitting me at the right time. So I'm still watching him do K9 stuff because I literally have no interruptions. I had nothing to play against with K9, so that's something I was thinking to myself was I need something more on my side, because I didn't want to play a bunch of hand traps, but at the same time, I feel like you need hand traps because hand traps are just really good. So I'm still watching him do a bunch of K9 shenanigans, and now he is still doing K9 shenanigans. So I'm still trying to decide how I like Mathematician when he was in my hand. I was trying to think of the Mathematician dumps. There was only like once or twice throughout the whole tournament I actually should have used the Mathematician. So we tried a Dark Ruler no more. He lets it go through, and then we Regaki. He plays the quick play and upgrades his Ripper into the Werewolf, and so I summon the the High Speed Warrior, and this is where things get very goofy. So after that, we get into this very, very long board state where I keep trying to break his dude, but because every time I try to use a monster effect, he keeps destroying my guys. But his guy can be banished. It just can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. So I try to Trishula him. Junk Speeder's a 5. The little dude on the far left is a 3. And the card he just destroyed was a 1. That was my Trishula I was trying to do. And that was my out to Jax. And not Jax. That was my out to Werewolf because Trishula is a non-target banish. And that would have been the out I needed. And so I've been trying to figure out different ways to get into Trishula, but no matter how I tried to get into Trishula, he kept hitting all the cards, and every monster effect I used made his wolf bigger, and just there's no way I could get rid of a wolf that could be not targeted and destroyed. So I was heavily relying on the Trishula, and once I realized I lost, I quickly scooped it up. But it was still a very interesting experience because I thought I could do what I could do, but I couldn't. So it's very shortly I realized I can't do what I thought I could do because I keep playing different cards. I'm like, well, I literally just have a bunch of tuners. And that's been the main problem playing the deck, is I had a bunch of tuners. So unfortunately, that's how Yu-Gi-Oh is, man. So here I am just doing more shenanigans. And unfortunately, it's not even fun shenanigans because it's me thinking I could still try to make a Trishula. And then I think once it was last second again, I realized I had a bunch of tuners I couldn't beat over the wolf. So, alright, here we are at the final round, round 4. So, we're playing in Sky Striker, and let me tell you, this matchup is absolutely horrid for my deck. So we start out doing our basic combo, activate tuning, add the Stardust Synchron. We milled the Mathematician, so the big problem I realized when I started editing this part, I realized I kept adding the High Speed Warrior off the Synchro Fellowship. And that's when I realized I should have added the Anchor Bolt Hedgehog, because the Anchor Bolt Hedgehog would have let me do so much more. So it's at that time I discard the Stardust Lady, which ends up biting me in the ass a lot later. So, summon High Speed Warrior, add another Synchro Fellowship, and then that's when I additional normal summon the Junk Warrior. We had no target in Graveyard, which it could have been the Anchor Bolt. Go into our Junk Speeder. Junk Speeder brings out our 5 tuners, the Wheel, the Scrap, the Dragon, and then the Revolution. So we Synchro summon our 2 away, the Wheel and the Scrap, to go into Rage Rose, because she's our Dark and she's a level 6. Rage Rose on summon sends an extra deck plant and a deck plant to the graveyard, so we're sending Garden Rose Maiden and Spore again to make Chaos Angel again with Stardust and Rage Rose. Because it's a light and dark, it's protected by monster effects. We're once again going to use some cool stuff. We're going to tribute off the Revolution Synchron for Stardust effect, and then that's going to tribute the Stardust in the graveyard. So then we got a bunch of more Synchro stuff going on. So we Synchro summons the Dragon finally, and then we Synchro summon the Omega. This is literally the board I've been ending on most of the day. So I almost would play 3 Stardust Synchrons, but I already play enough Synchrons. So as I said, we're playing against Sky Striker. We have an absolutely terrible matchup against this deck because he plays Fallen the Virtuous, a little Brandon engine, and this deck loses a lot to Spell and Traps. And this deck can play Widow Anchor, which takes our stuff. So I thought he was going to pop my Chaos Angel, but he went after my Snake Eyes Dragon, which kind of caught me off guard. So he played Upstart. I should have drolled when he first played Engage, because I had Droll in the hand, so I ended up drolling a little bit late. I'm not going to lie, I played really sloppy this game. Since I drolled, he activated Thrust and added another Engage. So, sorry, set the Engage. It was just very upsetting. I realized how sloppy I played upon editing, because I didn't realize I could have made better plays. But then again, that's kind of the point of learning. When you're playing this game, you make better plays so that way you can get better at this game. Isn't that right? At least that's what I tell myself. So, yeah, back to the game. Anyway, so he's doing more Sky Striker stuff. So he engaged, and then we're going to attempt to Omega him. That's a problem I've had as well, is I don't Omega at the right time. I should have Omega'd him during the standby phase, but instead I Omega'd him right at a very weird time. So during the end phase, a bunch of shenanigans happens. He gets his stuff, I get my stuff back. I'm seeing if I can do anything, and there's nothing I can do. So I draw for a turn, and he gives me his deck to cut, and there's really nothing. So it's my turn, and I drew another Stardust Synchron. So we play another Synchro Fellowship. I almost called it the Fallen the Virtuous, because he's got me thinking about that card now. So we finally add the Anchor Bolt Hedgehog. Then we add the Junk Warrior, or Synchron. That's me looking to make sure I had my second one in deck, because I know I had one in graveyard. We're discarding the Anchor Bolt Hedgehog, so now we did what I should have done turn 1. We normal summon the Junk Synchron. We bring back the High Speed Warrior. Then we bring back the Anchor Bolt. There's just so many names of Junk Scrap that I'm getting my mouth all tongue twisted. So we bring out Drag Racer, who stops Spell and Traps. So as we attempt to enter the battle phase, he tags out into a light and dark Sky Striker, pops my back row, which ended up just being a bluff. So as we're crashing into his monsters, he's kind enough to give us his deck again to cut. Sorry if I sound a little exhausting when making these videos, or this editing part. I'm doing this voiceover part a little bit late at night. So anyway, he tries to go into Kaina to stop one of my monsters attacking, but realizes Kaina can't do anything because of Chaos Angel, but he decides to just take the damage. and then bring back the Ray. Then he has another Fallen and Virtuous, but I stop it with Dawn Dragster by reducing its level. He brings out Kagiri, brings back Engage, activates Engage, and proceeds to add a Widow Anchor. And as soon as I saw the Widow Anchor, I knew it was over because Widow Anchor is pretty much game. And then the main thing that was bothering me, I'm sure if you caught on, there was an Omega that I made turn 1 and I didn't use it until he had like 7 or 8 cards in hand. He had gained so much advantage that I forgot to use it. So those were 2 main bad sloppy misplays I made. I should have drolled earlier, and then I should have used Omega earlier. He ended up showing me the talents and Widow Anchor and taking my stuff and taking game 1. So game 2, I made the misplay I should have done earlier. I added High Speed Warrior again instead of the Anchorable Hedgehog, which makes me realize that maybe I should be playing lower amounts of the High Speed Warrior and the Synchron Fellowship because the amount of times I've seen it. So we do our typical combo. We had discarded the Junk Synchron or the Scrap Synchron off the Synchro Fellowship. So now we can do a bunch of combos. So now we use the Wheel and the Scrap to make Rage Rose. Rage Rose's effect on summon dumps an extra deck plant and a plant, so we dump our 2 favorites, Spore and Garden Rose. So we're going to Synchro Summon into Chaos Angel because I'm always afraid in the B room, and now I almost ran out of stuff to do, but then I realized I could use his effect and keep doing stuff, and I almost ran out of stuff to do. My brain was very tired because I had not been playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a while. This is actually my first locals back in about a month because I've just been focusing on time with family and everything. So I'm definitely just going to say I'm trash at this game, but I'm fun. I like being fun trash. So we banished the Rage Rose, made her a 7, Synchro of Junk Speeder to make a 12, to bring back Snake Eyes. But once again, our Sky Striker guy just does not like the Snake Eyes. He Fallen and Virtuous is it again. So now, as he plays Hornet Jones, we attempt to retaliate and see it, but he gives us a nice little Christmas gift of the Sky Striker Kaiju monster that can tribute over one of our monsters. So, as he does stuff, I still had no interruption, so I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, he's got that engaged somewhere. And he's got that Widow Anchor. And just as I was thinking about it, he just happens to bring them out. So he Widow Anchors my Chaos Angel, enters the battle phase, kind of attacks the start of Scrap Synchron, which it should have been banished, but okay, I do banish it. I thought I put it in the graveyard. Then he runs onto his own dude, he links away my Chaos Angel and his kinda to banish my Revolution, and I'm sure you can see my hand. It looks like game over. But I misplayed really bad because I only had 1 Stardust Synchron on the banished. I didn't have my second one in deck. Or I do have my second one in deck. I apologize. I misplayed because here I should have summoned not Junk Synchron. I should have summoned Mathematician to get out the dump the Stardust and just keep doing stuff. Because here, all I did was bring out the Snake Eyes Dragon, and he stops my Snake Eyes Dragon, which ends up being the end of the game. So I had a lot of fun playing Synchros, but the problem was, spells were my main issue. As funny as that sounds, there were a lot of plays I also saw I could do differently while I was editing. I was like, ooh, why did I do it this and not do this? But that's the best part. You learn as you go. I'm not sure how often I'm going to upload this series. I'm going to try to do it 2 to 3 times a month because of how much editing work goes into this, and because I'm the only person on this channel and I have a full-time job. I'm trying to like balance life. So I appreciate you guys being patient, because when I show a deck profile and I say I'm going to be doing these type of videos, I'm going to try and do it. So the next version I'm going to be playing is the Stardust Synchro version. I will be playing that in about two weeks-ish, just because I got some stuff going on in life, but I'm still going to have more content coming out. I'm going to try and do a vlog really soon, just because I want to experiment with more vlog type videos, but we'll see what this channel has to offer. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next video. Peace.